James is on Twitter. Dave, can you help me understand if this new tax bill is going to help or harm the middle class? Well, regardless of your politics, I can tell you this. Think with me. Just use your brain. Pull your brain out of your politics for a second, people. Think with me. Who better handles money for the good of society? Individuals or the government? Companies or the government? Who is the most efficient user of money and thereby better for society? Individuals or the government? Companies or the government? Answer is never the government. Is society better off the less money government extracts from it? Answer, yes. So, regardless of the technical, tactical breakdowns of whether you personally will see a $942 change in your tax bill next year, 96% will, or whatever these analyses are you see coming out everywhere, it appears most everybody's going to get a little bit back, a little bit different. Some more than others, and a lot of people don't even pay taxes. You know that, right? Like 50% of the people in the United States don't pay any federal income tax. So you need to keep that in mind. I mean, it's like bizarre if you think about it. So it's nuts. Yeah. If you make a certain income, you get money from the government. You don't give money to the government. An unearned income tax credit. I mean, you get taxes back and you didn't pay any in, or more back than you paid in. One of the two. You get money out. I mean, your net effect is you get money out. You don't put money in. For most people, that's half the people listening, or half the people in the world, in the U.S., that's what it is. So if you want to call a portion of those middle class, they're not even going to change, except that the culture is always better off. The community is always better off. The nation is always better off when it has less taxes extracted from it. Now, some of you do not believe that the money will result in someone doing something with it in the marketplace, that everybody's just going to, that the rich just take their money and nobody benefits. Well, it is their money, by the way, but aside from that private property issue, I'm wealthy. If I have more money, do you know what I do? You think I just put it all in the bank somewhere or hide it under my mattress? I mean, what do? Well, I buy stuff with it. And when I buy something with it, whoever made that thing gets paid. Whoever sells that thing gets paid. Whoever owns the store where that thing is sold gets paid. And then when they get money, so if I go across the street to a restaurant and I spend money, the server gets money, the cook gets money, the restaurant owner gets money. The restaurant manager gets money. The janitor that sweeps up the floor at the restaurant gets money. Because I'm a customer, it's more likely to continue, and there's more money going over there. So if they have more money, what do? Oh, they spend it. And where do they spend it? Oh, down at the hardware store. If the guy at the hardware store has more money because I spent money at the restaurant, and then the restaurant spends money at the hardware store, this is called monetary policy, for those of you that are uninitiated. It is called the flow of money. It's why we call money currency. You ever heard this called currency? Because it flows. It has a current to it. It is not a dead-end river. And money is not finite. There's not a fixed pie, meaning if I get more, it means someone else got less. Money's not like a pie. It's more like candles, Rabbi Lapin says. If I light your candle off of my candle, now we have two candles that are lit. That's how money works. It doesn't work where if I light your candle, then mine goes out. That's not how it works. So, all of that to say, you can call it trickle down economics. You can scream and flop your liberal self around on the floor if you want. Doesn't work. The rich just keep getting richer. Wealth inequality. Well, there's never been a culture in the history of the world. You can find no historical evidence anywhere that says that by extracting money from one class, that the other class prospers. It's called socialism economically at its core, and socialism doesn't work. It's a failed experiment. Communism is more of a failed experiment. And so if you believe in communism and socialism, then that's an economic form of government, but it has a bad track record. And so it has to do with equalizing the inequality of wealth, except for the people who are running the place. And there's always the aristocracy that, even in a liberal mentality, the aristocracy ends up very, very rich. And so there's always this wealth inequality, even in a pure communistic setting. It's like everybody's going to be equal except for the bunch that put it together, So that's really how it works. So be thinking about that. So the bottom line is, does the middle class, is it going to help or harm the middle class? The new tax bill. Well, the new tax bill in general puts more money into the economy and less money to the government. Anytime that happens, it's a good day. It's that much less money that they have to poorly manage, was that kind. Horribly manage. That much less money that they have to mess with and screw up and buy $25,000 hammers and $32,000 toilet seats. Yeah, you know the stories, and you've seen it too. So the less money that we send up there to be inefficiently used is better for everyone. Everyone. As a general macro statement. Now, individually, you can dissect the actual law itself and figure out who's going to get what tax cut, and then you can try to make some suppositions as to what might happen with that. But, the question is, does the economy grow more when government extracts money from the economy and increase taxes, or does the economy grow more when the government releases money into the economy instead of extracting it? It's kind of common sense. You don't have to be an economic genius to figure this out. And it does work. It does work. Now, government has some things it does, but it doesn't do anything efficiently. But it has some things it does that only it can do. But this idea that poor people are helped by government programs is a joke. I mean, really? Seriously? I mean, look, it's very, very inefficient. The millions of dollars it takes to get $1 to a poor person is amazing. And so, overall, it's going to help the middle class. It's going to help the lower class because it's going to help society. It's going to help the upper class, too. And by the way, that's okay. It's okay. These people didn't rob anybody. They didn't steal anything. They just did more work and sold more stuff than you did. So they've got more than you got. That's how it works. Bill Gates has got more than I got. He sold more stuff than I have. He's helped more people than I have. So don't be mad at Bill Gates. He didn't do anything wrong. At least not for becoming wealthy. You don't want to be mad at him. He just sold a bunch of computers. Like a whole bunch of them. Like changed the world. Don't be mad. Don't be mad at him. Rich people are not evil people. They just serve at a different level. Now, there's a few of them are evil, but there's a few poor people are evil too. And a few of you are too stupid to be believed. You got your head stuck so far up your politics, you quit thinking about these things clearly. Yeah, it's a disease that's out there. So that's the answer. It's kind of a philosophical economic answer rather than a specific technical one. Can you help me understand if this new tax bill is going to help or harm the middle class? Think I sufficiently described it? It's going to help everyone. Lower taxes always does. This is the Dave Ramsey Show. You ever get in a room full of stupid people? Like, you're at Thanksgiving dinner and your relatives are all saying something that's just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, really stupid. Or you're with some people at a party and you realize you're at the wrong party and some of these people are just saying moronic things. And you realize there's not anything to say because if you say something to them, it's not going to do any good because they've already made up their mind to live neck deep in the stupidity. You know what I'm talking about. So I got a friend of mine who says when he gets in one of those situations with a group of his relatives, he just says, like his in-laws, right? He just says, I just assume the bobblehead doll. I just sit there and nod and smile and nod and smile and nod and smile, like, those bobblehead dolls, you know what I'm talking about? And he said, there's no sense in arguing with them, so you might as well bobblehead doll. So I do not have the sound on because I'm doing a radio show, but we keep several of the news feeds running in here in case something breaks, and because I'm ADD and it gives me something else to look at while I'm doing the show. So I'm watching one of these news feeds of this Senate confirmation of the Supreme Court justice, right? And you can tell that a bunch of these politicians are just, they need to be seen, they need to be heard, they need to make their ridiculous statement, and they're reading off these horrid, just stupid crap. These people. And the poor guy, I mean, whether you agree with him or not, he is holding his composure. Whether you like all this stuff or not, he's just sitting there, he's pretty much bobblehead dolling his way through the stupid senators that are parading in front of him. I mean, it's just, bless his heart. I just thought, there's a bobblehead. And he really has composure, because I probably would just go all hillbilly on the morons. But he's just sitting there nodding his head going, you people are idiots. And he's just going to nod his head all the way. Yeah, he's really got composure. So maybe that's what it takes to be a Supreme Court justice, because they wouldn't let me be one. I'd start a war or something. But I'm not sure that the Supreme Court has the ability to do that. But if I was there, we could figure it out. So, man, I don't have the composure to put up with those idiots in Washington. They called me up to testify on something they were doing up there, and I said, you don't really want my opinion. You just want to say I was here. You just want to say, Dave Ramsey said so-and-so about money. That's all you want. You don't really want to know what I think, because you already know what I think, and none of you people are going to do it. Like, control your freaking spending. It's not going to happen. So I would be up there bobblehead dolling, and I'm not very good at that. So bless this guy's heart. I'm going to have to turn this off. It's distracting. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, click the subscribe button to get the latest content and check out these other great clips from the show.
Inflation. It's like those old car commercials. Price down. You know what I mean? I feel like that's what
there.
Yeah, it's like inflation is everywhere, and it is at all-time highs. And yet, George, what's interesting about this is that we're also in a season of life in America where incomes are up, but because inflation is so high, in some cases it's a net, meaning you're not getting ahead. You got some current news and data on this.
Yes, so we're going to do a series helping you guys out with what we call your four walls. So this is food, utilities, housing, and transportation. Yeah. Those are the big ones that people are worried about right now. So we're going to start with food today, give you guys some quick tips. Now, these aren't, life-changing hacks that are going to save you hundreds of dollars, but it can help to avoid you feeling that pinch every time you go to the grocery store.
All right.
So let's jump in here. We did a state of personal finance study, and we found that groceries have jumped about 8%, which tracks with inflation here.
Wow.
And the average cost of monthly groceries for one person went from $223 to $410. And for a family of four, it shoots up to $863. Now, a lot of you are going, oh my gosh, that's it? Or, oh my gosh, that much?
You know what that data doesn't cover? The Coleman household, where I have two teenage boys. That's like 3 extra people.
That's true.
The amount of groceries I got to spend.
Those boys can eat. I've seen them.
1 pack of bacon, gone.
Ooh.
Gone in one morning.
Well, that brings me to my first tip here, Ken. We got to shop at the cheapest grocery stores.
There it is.
A lot of people, they have their grocery store, and you can't get Ken Coleman away from Publix. Everyone's got their grocery store.
I'm a Kroger guy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wouldn't take you for a Kroger guy.
Really?
Shopping's a pleasure at Publix. I know you're a man of leisure and pleasure.
That's a tagline. I'm all about convenience, and there's one in the neighborhood.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. Well, Aldi is one of the best grocery stores. This is not sponsored, but they just happen to have great prices.
My parents shop exclusively at Aldi. They carry on about how they save money. They're retired.
They get it. It's simple. It's no frills. You got to pay for a bag. You got to put a quarter in the cart. I mean, they're making sure that they're able to give you those low prices in different ways. So Aldi, I love Trader Joe's for their prices. Walmart can be great. Costco can be great if you do it right. Now, Costco can be a danger zone when you get 4 things and it costs you $9,000 because you tried the rice peel-off sample and just had to have a 4-pound bag.
Well, who doesn't need a 6-pack of Polish kielbasa? I mean,
that's
you know
true.
what I mean? You can't just buy one pack.
I'm here for that.
Yeah.
So choosing a cheaper grocery store for right now, you don't have to go to Whole Foods. We can go to Aldi and get the same thing. Just might not be the name brand. Go generic. Go with the store brand. You'll be okay.
I'm a big generic brand guy.
Number 2, I want you to look for foods that give you more bang for your buck. So we talk a lot about beans and rice here. Never has it been more true. Beans and rice, rice and beans. It's one of the cheapest staple foods, and it's filling.
Yeah, let me tell you something. Bow tie pasta. I'm giving real-life Coleman House hacks as you go along. Bow tie pasta, you could buy 6 boxes for $1.46. It's unbelievable.
Right. Get those carbs. Rice, pastas, those are cheap. Get some sauce.
Yeah, pasta's cheap.
And buying your meat in bulk, as meat is getting expensive here.
Yeah.
So there's one right there. Number 3, actually, cut out the wants and only buy the items you need. This means no frivolous chocolate chip cookies are getting thrown in the cart, Ken.
Oh, it's tough.
What is the actual food that is going to sustain our family?
I really like ice cream, and I can make a case that it sustains my mental health.
Well, we're going store brand, and we're going to get the full gallon to save on cost per ounce.
Well, I'm all about the gallon of ice cream.
There you go.
Yeah.
There's your hack, Ken. So make sure that you're talking with your spouse, if you've got one, about the grocery budget and looking for ways that we can cut things out and making sure nothing frivolous gets added to that list. Now, lastly, Ken, this is one that you probably don't do, but cashback apps.
Yeah, I don't even know what that means.
I'm a fan. So there's apps like they're called Ibotta, Fetch Rewards. There's one called Checkout 51, Receipt Hog, and what you do.
Receipt Hog.
Yes.
If I was going to be into one, that would be the one that I would
just
be into.
based on the name.
Just so I could tell my friends on the phone. Yeah, I got this new app, Receipt Hog. That's fun to say.
I don't know who your friends are, but I hope they enjoy that.
Oh, you actually do.
So they're simple. You upload your receipt, and you'll get cash back for certain items you buy.
Really?
And they tell you,
what about my ice cream? I get cash back on my ice cream?
On certain brands. Now, here's the catch. I don't want you to buy the name brand ice cream that's $2 more to save $1 when you could have got the generic brand. So still shop wisely.
You're stepping on my toes.
Only shop what's in your budget. But it could help you get some money back. If you spend $80, you might get $5-10 back. That helps. Every little bit goes a long way. So remember actual paper coupons. Remember these, Ken? I clipped these on Sundays with my dad growing up.
Oh, yeah.
Big fan of the paper coupon. A lot of them have gone digital now.
Yeah.
But all of these take an extra step. It takes a little bit more research. It takes a little bit more patience and diligence to make sure that before you impulsively walk through the grocery store and then get mad that prices are high, you go in with a list, you go in with a budget, you go in with a plan, and you go in willing to make some sacrifices in order to save some money.
Is there a rule of thumb, George, on how much a person could save? Let's say you've got let's say you're going to go spend $200 as your budget or $300 at the grocery store. How much of that could you save?
Ooh. I'm going to go if you can shave
with
off
paper or digital coupons.
I think if you can shave off 5 or 10% of each purchase, I'm calling that a win.
So I've seen these stories where people get their entire thing for free. That's not real.
Well, you can do that, but you're not going to be able to survive off of that because you can't drink Tide detergent.
Well, you
know
can.
What I mean?
It's just not good for you.
The kids are doing it these days.
The kids are
apparently.
doing all kinds of stupid
stuff.
So,
you know what I mean, though? You're not you can't do that with
So 10%,
rice.
5 to 10% is a realistic. And so all of a sudden, I mean.
Which is the amount of inflation we're seeing.
Yeah.
So it combats that. If you can save 8% and inflation's 8%, it's net zero.
Yeah.
So there's some quick tips for you all. I know there's no easy hack. I wish I could give you some amazing news, but it really just takes some diligence, some sacrifice, and some research in order to get through these strange times when we're seeing groceries up 8%. But also, let's not get crazy. It's 8%. So if it was, $1, now it's $1.08. We're not talking $3, $4, $5 more for that same thing. And this goes with eating out too.
See, now, George, this is why you are a Ramsey personality, a thought leader, and you're winning this space. Because you just
Basic math?
Well, because here's the deal. You make a very good point on the 8%, and you put it in real dollars and cents. All right? People freak out because that's all we get fed are negative headlines, right? The sky is not falling.
No.
Because I hear the stories too. And I'm like, well, I mean, and again, I'm not making a joke. I have 2 athlete boys in my house that are 16 and 13. My 16-year-old's a man-child. I mean, I eat a side of beef
He's
in 2 days.
He's twice my size, and I'm a grown man.
Yeah, I need to get Longhorns in the backyard. That's the kind of rate of which we are going through protein. I'm serious.
Yeah.
So we've seen our bill jump. But at the same time, it's not like the end of the world. A little bit of discipline, a little bit of budgeting, and you can make your way through this.
Yeah, well, our plan works in good times and bad. And so times of inflation, you go, all right, we have margin in our budget because that's how we live our lives. We live on less than we make. We have an emergency fund. We don't have debt. And therefore, all of that money can go towards helping us survive inflation. And so that's what I want to remind people is follow these steps, do this plan because it works. And, I was just talking to my neighbor yesterday, and we were complaining about gas prices.
Of course.
I just got an electric car, and so therefore I don't need to worry about that.
Oh, boy.
But here's what she
go.
said, Ken. She said, you know what? At the end of the day, I'm grateful because I can actually afford it. It's not fun, but I can afford it. And that level of contentment, that's something that we need to have as a society and go, hey, listen, I'm not going to be bankrupted by grocery prices.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of people out there who are really, really hurting, and I have a lot of empathy for those people. But for most Americans, this is just man, that stinks. Yeah. Gas is $100 to fill up instead of $50.
Yeah. Same deal. We get back to the
Readjust
budgeting
the budget
that we talk about. When you know where your money's going, and budget is a plan that tells your money where to go, then you can weather this stuff.
Brent is going to start us off this hour. Hi, Brent. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. I appreciate it, and Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas. How can we help?
Well, my wife and I just kind of have a quick question here, hopefully, but I'll give you some numbers. We're 32, and we're kind of on baby step 6-ish. We live in two places because we work in two different places. One of our homes in our states is paid off, and it's worth about $380K. And then the other house that we have is worth about $950,000, and we owe about $540 on it. And then we also own a commercial building that my business operates out of. It's worth about $300,000, and we owe $170,000 on that. Our retirement account is at $260,000. So the kicker here is that we have a 2-year-old and a 4-month-old, and my wife makes about $220K a year, and she'd like to become a stay-at-home mom in, I don't know, about 18 months or so. So when she leaves her job, we'll probably sell one of our homes in one of those places. We haven't decided where yet. And then we'll probably go down to an income of about $40,000, maybe $45,000 a year.
What do you make now?
Yeah, like $45,000.
In a $300,000 commercial building?
Yeah, so basically I bootstrapped a business from like the ground up. And so because I'm essentially not there half of the year, it's that. I don't pay myself a whole bunch of money because I'm not there, just to make sure that I can keep employees kind of operating while I'm away.
So what are you doing when you're away?
Taking care of my kids.
So you're staying at home half the year?
Yeah.
She's in a different city.
Yeah, so we live together every time in each different city. So when she's working here in Austin, I'm here in Austin, but I'm taking care of the kids. When we go to Minnesota, that's when I work, but then she stays at home and takes care of the kids.
What does she do?
She's in academia. She's a professor.
Okay.
So that's kind of, so you know kind of what those income levels look like.
Okay, so we're going to combine households and land in one place. Which place are we going to land? Austin or Minnesota?
We don't know that yet.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I like your value system and where you're headed, because the way you're living life now is kind of cray-cray. And so I like, the direction you're moving with this. But I think your destination needs some refinement. Meaning, I don't know why she has to go from 225 to 0. There's a lot of options in academia that she could make, work just a few hours a week and make 50 to 100K if we line this up properly. And we're not going to accept your business, which absolutely sucks, as our final destination.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You two are high capacity people. Your goal should not be we're going to live on $45,000.
Okay.
I think you can land better than that and still get the quality of life all in one city, and her being at home largely with the kids, if not completely with the kids. And that's a good baby step in between these two. But just to suddenly take a machete to this thing you've built is not a good plan. So I think you need a better plan on where you're going to land, and she needs an adjusted plan on where she's going to land, and that's going to put you guys well up over 100, and you've got a sustainable situation then that's not as bizarre as you originally outlined when you came on. Because, dude, I mean, you have to admit, what you're outlining is pretty bizarre.
Oh, yeah, it's wild.
Yeah.
That's why we called.
Yeah.
What kind of business are you running?
So it's like a retail. It's a retail business. It does we do some training. We do some like physical fitness training, things like that, and then we have some products and random things like that. And I don't foresee that being our full time business. It's just like right now, if we had a fallback, and because her family is there, and that's where our families are
up in Minnesota.
Okay, we could operate. Yeah, it's like we could operate there for as long as we wanted.
Well, I wouldn't land there out of convenience. What I want you to do is have some intentionality about both of your careers and your location, and go, okay, then that will tell you how you can back into this and say, over the next 18, 24 months, whatever, we can make these 6 moves, 2 of them on her career, 2 of them on your career, 2 of them on the real estate decisions, and then that will put us in this other position that is a sustainable life then with a standard rhythm to it. But I mean, I don't blame you for wanting to change the way that you guys are living now. It's kind of wild, and it's been, it's obviously run its course. It's time for you to do something different. So, but I think the fact that this season is over has led you all to just this extreme thing of nothing. We're going from 100 miles an hour to full stop. And I think you can go from 100 miles an hour down to 50 miles an hour between the two of you, income-wise. And by the time you're located and get the efficiency of being in one location, sell off a piece of real estate, open a business, don't open a business, expand the one you've got, take a different career field. I don't care.
And part of this is getting rid of some of this debt. And so the commercial debt, the personal debt, and the mortgage, the sooner you guys are completely debt-free in your personal life and your professional life, the easier it's going to be to make these kinds of financial decisions.
Yeah, that's going to put you in the right direction. But the beautiful part about both of your skill sets is they can be scaled up or down. They don't have to go 0 or 100 miles an hour. You don't have to be all or nothing. And so higher ed is, like a lot of things, is being impacted by the digital world and is morphing. And so she's just got other choices that she can look at now.
Teach a few classes online.
Doesn't have to be 0.
Scale it down.
Yeah, the amount of mentoring and tutoring, all kinds of different things. I don't know exactly what she's doing in academia, but there's just a lot of options in that world right now because they don't have a lot of choices. They're going to have to provide options. Joseph follows me on Twitter at Dave Ramsey. Dave, how do you deal with people if they say, it's not my job or I don't care in your company? Well, it's my company, meaning that I own it and I'm the leader here. I hopefully would never have hired someone in the first place that would say something like that. And so the first thing you would look at if you're the leader is say, what's wrong with my hiring process? That I'm hiring someone that's that unmotivated. People sometimes say, and when I'm teaching leadership, they say, Dave, how do you motivate people? And I say, I don't. I hire motivated people. And so the problem to start with is you let a donkey in the building, and you should have been hiring thoroughbreds. And donkeys and thoroughbreds don't mix well. Now, if someone were to be in the building and I own the business or I'm leading the business or I'm in charge of that area or whatever, and they say something like, it's not my job, I don't care, we would sit down and talk to them and say, that's not how we do things here. Here in this organization at Ramsey Solutions, we do care. All of us care. And all of us in a business, small business, by definition, do things that aren't our job all the time. I'm not afraid to set up chairs or help lift a box or, run across the room and pick up a piece of paper that was left on the floor. I I'm not above that. And if I'm not above that as the owner and the CEO, then you're not above it. So it is your job, if you work in a small business, to occasionally step outside of your job description and do something. And you have to care. Now, if you don't do that, then you are self-selecting to no longer work here, because all of us that work here, we care. And all of us that work here do things that are outside of our job description from time to time. And so if you're not one of us, then you won't work here anymore, and that'll be a decision you'll make. And we would have a talk with them that sounded like that, and we would give them the opportunity. But if that kind of an attitude persisted, we would set them free in Jesus' name. Oh, and I promise you we would. We're never mean or angry about it when someone has to leave our organization. Sometimes we just make a mistake, and someone's a part of our organization that shouldn't be. And so sometimes they need to be somewhere else. And that's good for them, by the way, because if you think differently than your organization thinks, then you're in the wrong organization. So you need to be in a place. And around here we care. Now, I guess there's one other possibility, Joseph, and that is that you work in a place where there are people that say things like, it's not my job, or I don't care. And your leadership doesn't mind people saying that kind of a thing. It's not countercultural to them. And so it's kind of like, there's just some donkeys in the stable, and that's okay. Well, you've got two choices then if you work in a situation like that. The good news is, were you to decide to do care and to say it is my job, and you were just, regardless of what they say, you go get it done anyway, and you shine. The good news is that it, the level to which the bar you've got to get over to stand out among a bunch of donkeys is a fairly low bar. I mean, it's the donkey bar. Donkeys don't jump, if you didn't know. They have trouble even stepping over a donkey bar. That's what we're talking about. But now a thoroughbred can jump. They can leap. And so it's a low bar for you to get over to stand out and shine in a situation like that. That's option number one, is shine. And what will happen if you do that is one of two things will occur. If you'll go be excellent in a situation where not many people are, you'll stand out, and they will notice you, and they will, your responsibility will be increased and your pay will be increased. You'll get promoted. You may get promoted to the place that you could actually do something about this negative culture that you're sitting in. I don't know. That's a possibility. Sometimes that happens. Another possibility is that you shine among a bunch of donkeys, and they don't notice you, they don't care, they don't give you promotions and extra pay, but someone else will see you. A competitor will see you, a customer will see you, someone will see you shining, and they will steal you, and they will give you money, because shiny people attract money. Because there's not that many people that do care. There's not many people who say it is my job. There's not enough people that do excellence in the ordinary, which is diligence. And the Bible says the diligent prosper. So if you do excellence in the ordinary, it is your job. You do care. It does pay off. Now, is it frustrating? Oh, crud. I mean, being a thoroughbred among a bunch of donkeys is really frustrating. And you know what? It's frustrating for the donkeys, because they don't like your thoroughbred. They don't like a thoroughbred being around, because donkeys that have a thoroughbred around, your very presence exposes their donkeyness. They don't like it. And it's frustrating to them to be around somebody who's excellent. And people are half butts. They don't like being around people who get her done. They don't, because it exposes their lack of motivation, their lack of excellence, their lack of caring. And what's interesting is caring doesn't cost you anything. Caring doesn't even require intelligence. Caring just requires caring. You can just decide, I care. I'm going to treat this company that gives me money to feed my kids and buy electricity and shelter for my family. I'm going to treat this company like I own it. I'm going to care. I'm going to focus. I'm going to be excellent. I'm going to bring good ideas. I'm going to call out bad ideas. I'm going to care. It's going to be frustrating. I got to tell you, even when you own it, it's frustrating. It's hard. If you think it's easy having a conversation with the marketplace, you're confused. Because the marketplace is ADD. It's all over the place. It tells you one thing 1 minute and the next thing the next minute. And some of these voices are so loud, and there's only two of them. Instead of 200,000. But they're so loud, this sounds like there's 200,000 people griping. So, sometimes you just don't know. But, all you got to do is care. Just care. Just care. Doesn't cost a thing. You don't have to have a college degree to care. You don't have to have a 4.0 GPA to care. You don't have to have a Mensa level IQ to care. You don't have to have been raised by perfect parents to care. You don't have to be white or black or fat or skinny or short or old or young to care. You can just decide to care. And you'll stand out. You'll stand out. And someone will hire you. Someone will steal you if you'll just care. See, that's the thing, Joseph. It's a powerful question you ask. How do you deal with people if they say it's not my job or I don't care in your company? Well, if they're my company, we first would do a little bit of self-inspection and say, how did they get in the building in the first place? Because we try to keep all the donkey doors shut. We only want the thoroughbred doors open. We don't want them in here in the first place, so we got a hiring process that led a donkey. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, click the subscribe button to get the latest content and check out these other great clips from the show. Ever done anything really stupid with money? If you have, that makes you over 12. Almost all of us have. My wife Sharon and I started off with nothing when we first got married. Most people do, I think. And I started buying and selling real estate, and I got rich. By the time I was 26, I was a millionaire, making $250,000 a year. But I had done stupid. I borrowed too much money. Bank got sold to another bank, and some guy in another city looked down and said, there's a kid 26 years old, owes us millions of dollars. Let's limit this relationship, which is banker talk for ruin his life. They called our notes, and we spent the next 2.5 years of our life losing everything we owned. We were sued, we were foreclosed on, and finally we were bankrupt. I do everything backwards. I met God on the way up when I was becoming wealthy. Most people meet him at a point of crisis. I met him on the way up. I got to know him on the way down. So, 28 years old with a brand new baby, a toddler, and a marriage hanging on by a thread, we got the opportunity to start from zero again. Only I had to figure out how money works. Not what your broke brother-in-law's opinion is. How money really works. And so, as a Christian, I decided I would figure out what the Bible has to say about money. And I talked to old rich people. I didn't want to talk to young rich people. I'd been him. I didn't want his opinion. In business, we study successful people in a certain area, and then we emulate or copy what they're doing in order to have the same success they've had. It's called best practices. It's why you hire a personal trainer. They have abs and you have a keg. They know something you don't know. They do something you don't do. And so we learn from someone that knows something we don't know because they've actually done it, not have a theory about it. See, I don't really care what your theories are about money if you're broke. You're just arrogant and stupid. You live in your mother's basement and you write a money blog. Nobody cares what you think. Dave Ramsey doesn't understand the power of credit cards. Oh, my God. Really, after 30 years, you're still writing that stuff? You've got to be kidding me. So we learned how to handle money. And we learned that money really is fairly simple. It's just hard to do. There's only about 4 or 5 things you got to do to win. You have to live on less than you make. You need to live on a plan, a written budget. You need to get out of debt, because when you don't have any payments, you have money. Your most powerful wealth-building tool is your income. You've got to learn to save and invest. And you can't do that when you're in debt, don't have a plan, and don't live on less than you make. You know why people don't put money in their 401k and their Roth IRAs? Because they don't have any money, because it's all going out the door in stupid butt car payments, and Sally Mae's got her own bedroom at your house because she's lived there for so long. This is pretty simple stuff, guys. It may be primitive. It may be easy to understand, but it is very hard to do, because it has everything to do with you changing your heart and the way you function and the way you live your life, and you live like no one else so that later you can live and give like no one else, because that's the last one. There's a high correlation in all of our data between people who win with money and those that are generous. Generosity is a key element in people who end up winning with money. And it's pretty simple. It's because generous people are attractive, selfish people aren't. They're ugly. Attractive people seem to get more opportunities in life. Would you agree? We all want to help someone who's attractive. I'm not talking about physically attractive, but they're likable. The person that holds the door for you versus the one that cusses you for doing it. The one that helps you pick up your groceries when they're rolling around the parking lot because the bottom fell out of your bag. That's a generous person. They might be a person who gives you some money because you're broke. You don't have money for food, or you're going through a hard time and they help you out. There's a high correlation between generosity and financial success. And it's not that financial success allows people to be generous. It's that generosity causes people to be people that are lovable, likable, more than selfish people. And they have a tendency to prosper. It's a pretty easy formula, really, if you think about it. And when you're out of debt, Dave Ramsey doesn't understand the power of credit cards. Yeah, I do. I've watched the power of credit cards destroy people's lives for years. I absolutely understand the power of a credit card. And I've watched stupid people write clickbait articles about me and other people saying how to use a credit card, the proper way to use a credit card, and credit cards are good for reward points. Yeah, I've never met a millionaire that said, Dave, I made all my money with airline miles. Dave, those Discover points put me over the top. That was my breakthrough financial moment. Never met a single millionaire, and I've met with thousands of millionaires. Never met one that said that. They all say, I can't believe people fall for credit card debt. I can't believe people continue to use these stupid credit cards. It's like half the population is dying of lung cancer, and everybody's standing around going, well, I guess cigarettes kill you. Well, no kidding. Unbelievable. The credit card is the cigarette of the financial world. It used to be cool. Everybody thought it was neat, and people are catching on that it ain't a good idea. Hello. This is not rocket science, people. Live on less than you make. Becky's on Twitter. Do you literally mean beans and rice, or is that an exaggeration to make a point? Becky, you've got to be kidding me. Do you really think people doing this plan only live on beans and rice? I mean, really? Twits on Twitter. Really? Of course not. It means lower your stupid butt lifestyle and quit spending money like you're in Congress is what it means. It means quit going out to eat. You're broke. It means quit buying the most expensive thing at Whole Paycheck over there and get your dadgum coupons out and have a meal plan and actually cook from scratch because it saves money. And don't go on vacation. You're broke. And don't buy that. You're broke. You have clothes in your closet. Stay out of the mall. Live on less than you make. That's what it means. You have to live on less than you make in order to pay off debt, in order to save and invest, in order to be generous. You can't spend more than you make and end up anywhere but in bankruptcy court. And people are doing it every day, everywhere. See, this stuff we teach here, folks, is not hard to understand. It's very hard to actually go and do it. This is the Dave Ramsey Show.
Susan is kicking us off in Des Moines. Susan, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi. Thanks for taking my call.
Happy to take it. What's going on?
Hey, so I'm watching about the current hurricane that's heading towards Florida. And, yeah, I live in Iowa, so we get lots of tornadoes here. And I was thinking if something wiped out the power in this area, a big natural disaster, and I didn't have access to my emergency fund, how much cash should I have on hand just in case?
Interesting question. How much do you have in your emergency fund right now?
I have over $1,000 right now.
Okay. What baby step are you in? Have you been following the plan?
I've been following the plan, yeah. So I want to say like 2.5 to 3.
So you still have some debt?
I do still have some debt, but I'm down to less than 15% of my overall available.
Okay. How much debt do you have left?
I have about $15,000.
Okay. And then $1,000 in the bank.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, I mean,
I'm not counting my mortgage in that $15,000.
Sure.
That's
your consumer debt.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you called the right show at the right time because I have the prepper himself, Dr. John Deloney. This man has enough deep freezers to last a century.
Yeah, I'm more into food and things like that more than I am cash. So, hey, this is actually I grew up in Houston, so very similar. Tornadoes and hurricanes all the time, just kind of a part of life. So I'm going to tell you what I think, and I'm going to tell you what my reality is. Is that cool?
Yeah.
What I think is a small amount of cash that number is going to be relative to people. What I consider a small amount of cash and what Dave Ramsey considers a small amount of cash, very different numbers, right? But what would I need to get me a couple of days if I needed to go stay in a hotel, if I need to leave town and drive a couple hours away and put gas in the car, like very basic. If I need to go get some food and groceries and I didn't have access to A, B, or C. It's balancing this. What could happen with, like, what's probably going to happen, right? And as the son of a homicide detective, I was raised to believe it could all come down at any moment because that was my dad's world. And so that's my natural bent, and I've had to train myself over the years to, it could, but it probably won't, right? It probably won't. So I have no problem if you have $1,000 in emergency fund that you keep $250, $500 at home in cash, just as I can go get a hotel and I can drive somewhere and be somewhere for a couple hours, or I could drive 24 hours and get out of here and go stay with a friend, right? That's what we're looking for. The idea that if the whole banking system goes down, the cash is worth the paper it's printed on, right? So we tend to overdraw. We tend to pretend that the world, after some kind of crazy calamity, that the world would exist as it does. And I have a friend who's a banker, and he's like, dude, if the whole world goes down, you're going to be shooting your neighbor for water and barbecuing dog. Like the world as you know it is over, right? So it's not like my cash is going to help. Here's the other side. I don't say I'm a prepper. I'm just someone who's prepared. How about that?
Sure, that's literally a different verb.
But I live in the woods and I have a year's worth of meat on hand right now. So, right. So George would call me a prepper.
I live in a neighborhood, in a society. It's a little different. It's
exactly.
Fine. But there is wisdom in what John said.
But I don't have any cash at my house right now. I don't have $5,000 hidden at home. I've done that before. I don't have that right now. I'm not super concerned about it.
Okay.
There's a spectrum from like a tornado may be coming versus like it's the apocalypse, which I've seen Left Behind. Very scary. Anytime I see a pile of clothes, I'm nervous. I'm like, is this it? Is it happening?
It's gone.
But right. Susan, I think it's wise if you have $1,000 right now in the bank, if you want to take out 500 of that in cash and put it in a fireproof safe, I think there's some wisdom.
If that's going to help you sleep, cool.
Yeah. But I also wouldn't go over.
Yeah.
Once you're out of debt and you have fully funded,
what you guys thought.
Yeah. Once you get like $10,000 in the bank, maybe you up it to $1,000 in that safe to having cash just in case. Even beyond a natural disaster, sometimes you just need to have cash on hand. Your bank account's got locked up for some reason, and so there's wisdom in that.
During the tornado that came through Nashville here, I don't know when the last time you were in like an event where power went out for a couple of days or something like that, but I was stunned at how fast technology has shifted. People were able to buy things. I was able to buy something with my debit card on somebody's cell phone because they had one of those little plug-in things. It went very, very quickly, is what I'm saying. So I grew up one time when Hurricane Alicia came through. We had nothing for like 10 days, like nothing. We cooked on a camp stove. It was the whole deal. In some parts of the world that still happens. In some parts of our country that still happens. It's very, very rare.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel better,
good.
Susan?
I do. I just, I've got my dry food and my water and blankets and whatever else. And I was just thinking, wow, I don't have any money. Am I going to need to put some of that aside? So I wanted to know what your thoughts were on it.
In my life, the more cash I have at my house, the more money I spend on stuff that I really don't need. It's a self-control mechanism.
But that's why I like keeping it in the fireproof safe. Not just going to sit in the wallet, John. That's how it disappears. But this is a real, John, regardless of what the reason is, natural disaster or something else, there's a lot of fear. Like I get messages probably at least once a week of someone going, but I was watching the news and what if the digital money and currency goes digital, and I saw what if Biden and the IRS is going to start looking at our, and it just spirals out of control.
Right.
And usually they don't say I'm looking at the news. I just say, hey, turn off the news.
Turn it off.
And they go, yeah, you're right.
Turn it off. I've told it on this show, but a buddy of mine who's he's a banking commissioner, and he's just a brilliant mind when it comes to money. I was hammering him one time. Just, what about this and what about this? And I was in one of my anxiety spirals. It's all coming down. And he finally said the magic words that was like a light switch for me. And he looked at me and said, hey, John, I don't have a meteorite plan. And I was like, what's that supposed to mean? And he goes, I'm going to put money in retirement. I'm going to put money in this program. I'm going to pay my house off. I don't owe anybody on cars because they're depreciating assets, and it's dumb to borrow money on. He's just so straightforward as a banker. And then he goes, and then if I get hit by a meteorite, I'm going to deal with that on that day because I'm just not going to waste my. And I was like, oh yeah. So if all the monetary system implodes and crashes,
we have bigger issues.
There'll be much bigger
not
issues
having cash
going
on hand.
That's exactly right. That at that point, you know what's going to be your best bet, your best apocalypse bet?
What's that?
Have close relationships with your neighbors. Know your neighbors so that they don't look at you as an enemy. They look at you as somebody to do life with and to get through the next hurdles that y'all are going to have to overcome together. Know your neighbors really, really well. That's your best apocalyptic move.
That's good.
Not having a bunch of cryptocurrency.
They're not going to want that for the apocalypse is.
The zombies cannot be bought.
My neighbors, Gary and Lon, they're not going to be doing much with Dogecoin.
Nope.
But
they
I can
will
give them
bring
some
over a cup
tomatoes
of
from the
sugar.
garden. My neighbor gave me some tomatoes from his garden the other day.
Hashtag
it was a lovely
apocalypse. Right there.
moment. Now that we can do it.
All right, we're going to start off this hour with Luke in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Hi, Luke. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. Thanks for taking my call. It's an honor.
Honor to speak with you, sir. How can we help?
So I was calling to get some advice because I'm getting married in 6 months and moving out of home from my parents, and I'm wondering what you would advise as kind of like a nest egg or just a small. It feels like I should have some money set aside to pay for, like furniture and, the deposit and things like that.
Do you have an emergency fund right now?
I do. I have $1,000. I'm on baby step 2.
Okay, wonderful. Well, Dave, I am curious how much beyond the deposit. So you have your deposit for the apartment. I mean, if you're on baby step 2, I'm thinking pretty cheap. But Dave, what's your take?
Yeah, you need to. Well, I mean, basically, it's not. Do you need more than $1,000 in savings? That's not the question. The question is how you're going to fund the setup. And what do you make? What's your income?
$50,000.
Okay. And so you've got the money coming in. You don't have any overhead to amount to anything, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So you're going to slow down your debt snowball enough to cover your deposits, to get your utilities set up, to buy a garage sale couch and a Craigslist kitchen table, and get some dishes while you're at that garage sale. So you got something to eat off of. And, just set the place up cheap. And then you can upgrade from there as you go along towards the marriage date, and with the wedding gifts as well. That'll help put a little nicer things in the cabinets, right? Get you a toaster and whatever else you got to have there, right? So, but the big things you're going to have to do is avoid just go retail spend $12,000 on furniture. You're not going to do that. You don't have $12,000.
Well, I think you really need to go in with like a frugal mindset, right? Rather than asking the question like, how much, should I have in a typical scenario? It's like, how cheap can we do this in a way that we still get to live in a place that's not, a terrible spot, but how can we save the most money in this situation?
I mean, talk to the apartment complex, find out what your deposit is, or what that is, what your first month's rent is. They're all going to be due up front. You also got to check with the utility companies, find out exactly what those are. Those are fixed numbers, and then just give yourself a used furniture budget, and just get in there and start with nothing, and start super, super, super cheap, and keep working your debt snowball. All the while, who's paying for the wedding?
My family. I'm paying for a little bit of it. I've already paid for the honeymoon, but the wedding isn't much of an expense. I'd say less than probably $500 is what I'll pay.
How much debt do y'all have?
So I only have like $10,000, but my fiance has about $80,000. So we have $90,000.
Well, there's not a we yet. After you're married, we have $90,000. But yeah, right now she's paying hers, you're paying yours until the actual wedding occurs, and then we combine everything and we attack from there. But I mean, the two of you can go shop for a garage sale couch together, and you're buying it, but you're both going to end up sitting on it. Certainly after marriage. And so go pick some of these things out, have an adventure with this stuff. And, Sharon and I did this stuff, Luke. I mean, when we got married, it was, if you go to the rich end of town, there are people that will put a $8,000, $9,000 leather couch out on their, in their garage sale for $100 because they got to get out of the way.
Literally, the kitchen table we still use to this day, I got for free off Craigslist from a lady in the rich part of town who just didn't want it.
Yeah, just trying to get rid of it.
It was literally fully wood, like a $1,400 table that she didn't want to take the time to take somewhere else. So I was like, I'll take it. And it does make me think of that season when we were first, married, when I was first getting out in the world. Even with apartments, I would lliterally just refresh apartment websites trying to find deals. So I had my eyes set on this really nice apartment that was, I'm going to date myself a little, in Nashville. It was $900 a month. And I was like, I cannot afford that. I kept refreshing, refreshing. One time it refreshed and they said they had a special for $550 a month. And I jumped on it. I went in that day. So it's like I was just so hungry to find something that I could afford that it was less about, like, what's the typical apartment price? Can I afford that? I was aggressive in trying to find the best deal.
Turns the whole thing into a game.
Yeah, it's actually, it's fun.
Just a game. It's a game of how cheap can we do this, and how great a deal can we get? What kind of bargain can we get? And, that's how you get started. And the good news is that this is not a forever couch.
No. Unless you get a really nice one, like our kitchen table.
No, it's still not a forever couch because it's not your couch. I mean, it's a $100 thing to sit on,
right?
Or a $50 thing to sit on. That's all it is. And you're gonna upgrade later, and you're gonna upgrade later, and you're gonna move, and you're gonna do all kinds of stuff. And so it's 2 years from now, none of this will still be there. You will have moved on. Now, in your case, you've kept the table because it was a very cool table to start with. But yeah. So, but I'm just saying, we don't have any of that furniture 40 years later that we started with. I'm just telling you, not one stick of it that I'm aware of. So, but that, it's okay. It's just a place to start. So the point is, you don't need a bigger emergency fund. How much do I need to have in savings? No, you just need a budget to move in that encompasses your deposits and a little bit of setup costs for furnishings from the garage sale in the rich people end of town. Brian is with us in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Hey, Brian, how are you?
Hi, good afternoon. Thanks for taking my call, Dave.
Certainly. How can I help, sir?
Well, I took this great municipal job about 16 years ago. I had a retirement fund that has been set for the last 16 years in a guaranteed fund, good, bad, or indifferent. I was guaranteed that I would get some sort of retirement at the rule of 85 here in Indiana. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, there's a part of this that's called an annuity. Mm-hmm. And you are able to place part of that in different sectors of the stock market.
Right.
And I have no idea. I'm not a money person. I don't know what to do with that.
Okay. Well, here's the good news. It's not rocket science. It is going to require that you learn some things so that you're making good choices on your own. What I recommend is, and what I personally do with my 401k, is I put my mutual funds in, or I put my investments inside my 401k, which is inside your annuity in this case, in 4 different areas: growth, growth and income, aggressive growth, and international. Now, growth and income is the more stable, boring category, and sometimes that's called large cap or blue chip. Does any of that sound like one of your options?
I think that is one of our options.
Okay. Then and I'd put some in that, and I put a 4th in that. I put a 4th in growth. Growth is called mid-cap or growth, or sometimes just an S&P 500 index fund would represent a growth fund, something along those lines. And then aggressive growth is obviously small, aggressive companies. They're startup companies. They're the smaller companies, the more volatile. Sometimes those are called emerging markets or small cap. If you see that, small cap means capitalization. So capitalization means small company. Okay, and that's going to be your more volatile. It's big rates of return, but it's the biggest roller coaster ride of the ones. The growth and income's the calmest of the 4. And then international obviously means stocks in companies outside the U.S. And so sometimes those are called a foreign fund, or it has a kissing cousin called a global fund. Global would have some U.S. in it, but foreign as well. A pure foreign would have no U.S. in it. So that's the only difference there. That's the type of thing you're looking at, is you're going to spread it out across different things. If you got it all in the boring, then you're gonna be bored at retirement because you don't have any money. If you got it all in the exciting, you're gonna be scared to death all the time. You know, and so I want a little thrill. I want a little Tabasco on my food, but I don't want to not be able to eat it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, gotcha.
A little spice, and that's all we're doing here is we're mixing it up and having a little of the calm and a little of the wild and a little overseas, and so that the word that investors use for spreading your money around is called, the word is diversification, but that's all diversification means: spread around.
Now, would one of your ELPs be able to guide me a little bit on this? Would somebody know about what the state has set up?
Absolutely, yeah, they would know in their heart. Probably over the phone would know, because they're right there in your community, and they've looked at the state plan 20,000 times over the years, and they'll be able to just go, hey, here's what you got, here's what you got, here's what you got. But here's the thing. You can't be an endorsed local provider of ours if you don't have the heart of a teacher, and so in the last few minutes here on the radio, you've learned a couple of little basic things from me. Maybe you knew them before, I don't know, but you learned some basic stuff. I want you to continue to learn a little bit more, so you're not doing something because Dave Ramsey said, or you're not even doing something because an ELP said. You're doing something because you learned enough to make the decision, and then you understand why we're suggesting something. So you already understood I was suggesting 4 different things. Why? Because spreading it out like that gives you some safety, and you're not too excited where you can't breathe, you know, that kind of thing. So that's what that diversification thing means. So you just got to learn that from the ELP. But just go to DaveRamsey.com and click on ELP, and they'll help you. And let me send you a copy of Chris Hogan's #1 best-selling book, Retire Inspired. And it's got a bunch of really good information. You can begin to learn about this stuff. Again, I'm not trying to turn you into some kind of PhD in economics with a pocket protector nerd, okay? But I do want you to understand where your money's going, because you're the one that's responsible for it.
Once I'm done with that snowball, now, even though I have my city accounts, municipality accounts, do I still want to put 15 into some sort of IRA for myself?
Yeah, you want to put 15% into something. Now, if you're putting money into the city, you can deduct that amount from the 15%, but I want you to have some stuff that's not at the city. And so a good Roth IRA and some good mutual funds as well would be a way to do that. So hold on, I'll have Kelly pick up and send you a copy of Chris Hogan's book, Retire Inspired. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, click the subscribe button to get the latest content and check out these other great clips from the show. You are not a victim. You're not a victim of big corporations. You're not a victim of Wall Street. You're not a victim of capitalism. You're not a victim of wealth inequality. You're not a victim of racism. You're not a victim.
people, they think the cure and the fix for the problem is, well, give me more money, I'm gonna be all right. Well, the more you make, the more you spend.
Right.
If you have no discipline and no structure.
Yes, absolutely.
Every time.
Yes.
Every time. Well, just give me more and more. No, the more you get, the more you're gonna spend. And people ain't gonna listen because we are caught up in looking a certain way, living a certain way, trying to appease others who don't really care nothing about you, just to say, oh, I got it.
Wow.
I got it too, and I had it for almost 30 years. I done saved, 83% of my salary. I don't need validation from nobody on the outside. That's another downfall. In society, we always need validation and acceptance from others. Don't try to live a lifestyle that you know you can't afford.
Right.
You can't do that.
All right, so you got a pro football player. It said in the copy there, he flew Spirit Airlines instead of chartering a jet. This guy made millions and millions and millions.
Yeah.
Right. Instead of flying Southwest, I'm flying Spirit. Right. Wore fake jewelry, the whole thing. So he's like, man, I don't have to prove myself to everybody.
I love it. I love it. I've been guilty of that. I've been guilty of being in situations where I feel like I have to prove like I belong here. Mm-hmm. And the way to prove I belong is by, having the same bag she has, having the same shoes they have. And if you do that, it's like a status thing, but it's so deeply rooted in insecurity. It really is. Like, that's not, and I heard him say on another part of the interview too, like, that's not what gives you your worth. Huh. Like, what you can buy, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So I love that. It makes me think of that scripture. One person pretends to be rich yet has nothing. And another pretends to be poor but has great wealth. I mean, what do you want to do? You want to be fake rich or real rich? You know what I'm saying? And I like what he said.
This show is a lot about like exact ratios and what's the exact percentage before I do this and the ratio before I do this and this.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to get caught up in the numbers here, but saving 80% of his income.
Yes, he's extreme.
But he's also making millions and millions.
Yeah.
And I have been guilty of he was exactly right.
Yeah.
I've spent my entire career thinking, well, if I just made some more money, then fill in the blank. And what ends up happening is my house has gotten a little bit bigger, my car's gotten a little bit nicer, and I realized a few jobs ago, this just never stops until I stop it. I got to get off the train.
The goalpost keeps moving
every single time.
See what I did there?
Yeah, I see what you did there.
I'm sorry.
Well played. So don't try to live a lifestyle you can afford.
Yeah.
Here's the hard truth of this. It's easy to look at Ocho Cinco and say, okay, he's worth millions and millions. So what we are saying, and I'll say, you can join me or not, if you make $65,000 as a teacher, you've chosen a Corolla life. And that is, okay, you've chosen a Camry life until you can, like, what is it, the third job that's a millionaire, right? There's engineers and something else and teachers, right?
That's right.
On the list. So you can get there.
Absolutely.
But you don't get to decide, well, I want to have an $80,000 Suburban, which is used, by the way.
Right.
When your take-home salary is $65,000. Like, we have to live relative to the job we make instead of trying to live a lifestyle that we can't afford.
I mean, I definitely think, for him, saving 83% of his income looks totally different than, like you said, a teacher, somebody who's making an average salary. Right. It's not the same. I mean, I don't save 83% of my income. Are you kidding me?
I don't either. Yeah.
I'd be wearing a cardboard box right now. So...
Well, and I know there's teachers across the country that just rolled their eyes when I said 65,000. Like, I don't know what teachers making that.
Not that.
Yeah, but it's when you. Let me just say it this way. Stop trying to pretend to live somebody else's life. If you've made the choice to have job X or job Y, or it's the only job you can get, that's fantastic, and be so proud of yourself. Be grateful of the contribution you're making, and live that lifestyle.
Absolutely. Yeah, you've got to, it points to contentment. And again, I feel like we do have to highlight the ratios because it's a lot easier for him to, quote, it's easy to say, oh, it's easy for him to live on 20%. He's got millions. But to his point, the like we said, the goalpost is always moving. And it's interesting because you're always comparing yourself to what's around you. Like I was watching something I think it was Kevin Hart, and he was talking about, if you're on a basketball team or a football team, you're hanging out with those guys. They're not all making the same money.
That's right.
Like, it's a difference between if you're like first string and if you're like, I don't know, like the sixth man or like over on the sidelines. And we're talking hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars difference in pay.
Right.
So it's like, hey, after the game, we're all going out.
Yep.
Really? Like, you're not doing what the quarterback's doing. And it's the same thing in our own life. If I go out with a bunch of folks, it's easy to think, hey, we're all here. Mm-hmm. We can all afford the same things. Yep. And you can't.
That's right.
I mean, how many times you go to dinner with people and it's like, well, they ordered the steak, I guess. Well, maybe I'll order it too. Like, and you start changing your behavior based on who you're around. You go to work, you start looking at the cars in the parking lot. Oh, well, maybe I need that too. And you start comparing yourself, but you don't know. You don't know their life. You only know your life, and you're the one that's got to sleep at night.
That's exactly right. And we often don't understand that somebody's mom passed away and left them a bunch of money.
Okay.
Or somebody's granddad passed away and left them a house, or somebody else is struggling, and that's why they drive that car, because they don't care about this dumb depreciating asset on wheels. They're more interested in saving their college funds. We just make all sorts of stories up about our people in the parking lot next to us.
Yeah.
Stop.
And I just...
Live your life. All right, let's go to the second one. He has a part 2 to this. Roll it, James.
But everybody's caught up in image and looking a certain way and being rich. It's me. It's pointless. You know how hard it is to live like that all the time, consistently, and be fly every day? Yeah. Jewelry and listen, eras of rappers. Think about the era before us.
Right.
Everybody was flashy, stunned. And after 10 years, what happens?
They ain't flashy, they ain't stunned.
No, you can't. It's impossible to sustain. Right. It's impossible.
I love that he's talking about athletic culture, hip hop culture, because 78% of athletes are losing their wealth within 3 years. Yeah. And it's because of the culture. More bags, Gucci belts, bottle service, Maseratis, like Bentleys, like this is the culture. I'm so glad that somebody's talking about that, telling us that it's not necessary. This is not what's giving us our wealth. Rappers are not the people who tell us how we have to dress, John. Jay-Z don't tell you what car you have to drive, okay, John?
He does. When he texted me the other day and told me I should get some new clothes, and so...
Candace is with us. Hey, Candace, how are you?
I'm fine.
Good to have you. Where do you live?
Indianapolis, Indiana.
Awesome.
Nice.
And all the way here to do a debt-free scream.
Yep.
How much did you pay off?
$234,000.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh! How long did this take?
31 months.
Look at you. I love it. And your range of income during that time?
$74,000 to $275,000.
What?
Oh, what do you do for a living?
I'm a nurse practitioner.
So you went to travel nursing, huh?
I did not. I stayed as a nurse practitioner full-time, and then I worked in the hospital as a nurse full-time as well. And then I had another part-time MP job.
So you were doing 80, 90 hours a week?
96.
Oh,
to be
my
precise.
gosh, Candace. Okay.
You're a beast, girl. I love it. Wow.
I want to know your schedule. What did a typical day, because you worked every day during the week.
Yep. So I did 9 hours on Monday, Tuesday. After Monday and Tuesday, I worked at my third job on Mondays. Tuesday, I did 4 hours in my second job. Wednesdays, I do 9 hours. I take a 2-hour nap. Then I go to the hospital for 12 hours. Then I take a nap, and then I do 6 hours on Thursdays. Fridays, 9 or 10 hours. Nap, 12 hours. 12 to 16 hours on Saturday.
How long did you do this?
96 hours. I did that for the last probably 9 months. And then 80 hours before that.
Oh, my gosh,
What are you down to now that you're free?
I'm still working a lot, but I'm throwing in vacations with it.
You kind of got the rhythm now.
Yeah.
Okay, what kind of debt was the $234,000? This must be all the school debt, huh?
It was $114,000 in school loans, $30,000 in one car, and $16,000 in another car, $10,000 in taxes, $30,000 in credit cards, and $65,000 on a mortgage.
You paid off your house?
Yep.
Oh,
wow. Okay, no, wait a minute. You're single. Why do you have 2 cars?
Because I drove a convertible.
Oh, now I understand.
And in Indianapolis, it snows and it's icy.
She had two cars.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so fun.
You are
and
so
you kept them. You kept them and paid them off.
I have both. Yeah.
Look at you.
Okay, so what happened? What happened months ago that just made you say
31 months
31 months ago that
you
said
you went crazy.
I
here.
mean, man,
this is awesome.
I guess about 4 or 5 years ago, I bought Dave Ramsey's the debt-free makeover, and I put it to the side because I was in school and I couldn't focus. And then when I graduated with my master's degree, about a month after I spent all my credit card money, used up my credit cards, and realizing that all my money was going to credit card debt, car loans, I picked up the book and I read it in 2 days, and it was just life transforming for me from there.
Wow.
So I started budgeting. I was Davish initially, and then the end of 2020, I kind of put the gas on. I went gazelle intense. Kind of was disappointed at myself because I did a lot of traveling, trying to pay everything off, and I realized where I could have been. So 2021 January until September, when I paid my school loans off, I pretty much did 80 hours, and then the last 3 months of paying my school loans off, I did 96, and then I kind of kept going and then finished my mortgage off in March.
Wow, look at you.
Yeah.
You are amazing. You're a machine. This is so good. Was it worth all that?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
How you feel?
I feel free. So that's probably the best term that I can use. I feel free.
Yeah. A bit overwhelmed before, weren't you?
Absolutely. Overwhelmed, discouraged. So
Scared. Yeah.
So tell me this, Candace, because there's probably people listening that could be in a very similar situation of what you were 32 months ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're thinking, but there's no way I can do this. There's no way. I mean, this is going to be my life. What would you say to people that think that way, that it's just impossible? They've lost all hope. What would you say?
I would say just keep pushing, set a goal, stick to it, realize that the plan can change a million times like mine did, but the goal never changed.
Yeah.
My goal was to become debt-free, and I'm debt-free.
Just eye on the prize.
Yes.
I love it.
Wow. So, where did you learn to work like that?
My mother.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
she was a worker.
Your mom's a wild animal, huh?
Yep.
She's a worker.
Single mom of 4. She worked
Working
2
all the time.
jobs, always doing overtime. So I've always had good work ethic.
Yeah. So if I want something, I go work for it.
Basically.
That's the word.
it. That's it. No other way.
Don't sell that convertible. You just
I won't.
work. I'm going to just go work extra hours. Straight up. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So what were people saying during this journey? Because I mean,
people had to be looking.
I mean, we do this for a living, and we're still just like, wait, what?
This
You work
is
96
amazing,
hours a
yeah.
week? Yeah. What was everyone saying?
A lot of people were inspired. A lot of
Yeah.
people that I work with, because of course I spent a lot of time with them and my friends, of course. I didn't really share my journey with everybody until I got down to my last 3 months of paying my school loans off, and my friends were talking about it to people, so they were inspired. They're like, you should share it. So I started posting, and then I did the rings, paying the last $50,000 of my school loans. So a lot of people were in tune with that. So it was really, really inspiring for me and for them. So it was really, really nice. Yeah. They were definitely inspired. A lot of people were discouraged because they're like, oh, I don't make that much. Well, you don't have $234,000 in debt either.
And you don't work 96 hours a week either.
Exactly.
So there you go. So what do you tell people the key to getting out of debt is?
Just being consistent, always knowing that you have to sacrifice, learning the aspect of delayed gratification. You know, everything we want, we usually want it now, and knowing that sometimes it just takes time. You know, even with wanting a new car, save up the money, wait, and then you can get your car or whatever it is that you want. Just delayed gratification and getting away from instant gratification was probably the biggest key for me.
How old are you?
31.
Your mama's got to be looking at you with tears running down her face and
She's
proud.
watching.
And really, really proud.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Well done. It's pretty incredible. You're an incredible young woman. And folks, you don't have to work like this your whole life. She just did it for a short period of time.
Yep.
To hit a goal. And but she knows she can. And you really can't work like that for 5 years in a row. You can't. Your body can't stand it. Your emotions can't stand it. But for a short period of time, you can turn it on.
Yep.
And really, for just under a year, you've been going like a maniac.
Yep.
And now you're free. Completely free. I figured you went the way the numbers jumped. I figured you went travel nursing. That's why I jumped on that. But instead, you just took a bazillion hours.
Picked up another full-time job.
Yeah, and there's 2 full-time jobs and then a part-time job. Yeah, and it's all around nursing.
Yeah.
And always a need, isn't there, for
Absolutely.
nurses? Always a shortage. Yeah, great career path. So proud of you. Wow, you're amazing.
Congratulations.
Absolutely amazing. Absolutely. We got a copy of Baby Steps Millionaires for you. That is the next chapter in your story for sure, without a doubt. How ordinary people built extraordinary wealth and how you can too. The daughter of a single mom raising 4 kids learned how to work by watching her mama.
Yep.
Her mama, as you say, Rachel, more is caught than taught.
Yep, she saw it.
And
knew
here
she
comes,
could and had the confidence. I mean, there's a confidence that you have that you're like, I can do this. I can do this.
She's even afterwards, more confidence.
She's a victor.
Yes,
she's not a victim.
Yes, that's right.
Not a victim. She's a victor.
It's amazing.
Pretty incredible. Beautiful stuff.
You just changed your life.
Yes.
Copy a Total Money Makeover for you to give away to somebody, and maybe you can get them started and stir up a ruckus like you did.
I have.
You are something else. You are something else. You are amazing. All right, Candace from Indianapolis, $234,000 paid off in 31 months. She did it in 2.5 years, 96 hours a week for the last 9 months. House and everything, and she's 31 years old, 2 cars, single, 100% debt-free. Wow! Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
1, 2, 3. I'm debt free.
Emily's in Santa Barbara. Hi, Emily. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi.
Hey, what's up?
I have a question about what I should do, what me and my husband should do with our year-end bonus, because we can't go exactly in the baby steps because we already own a home. We bought it pre-Dave. But besides that, we are debt-free.
The baby step, home is in the baby steps. It's baby step 6.
Yeah, but I meant...
You're saying you bought a house before it was time to in the baby steps.
Is it paid off?
No.
Okay, then you have the regular baby steps. Where are you in the baby steps?
So that's paid off. So with that $34K, we can put $5K to finish our emergency fund. So we'll be at 20.
So you're debt-free but the house?
Yes.
Okay, and then you finish your emergency fund. That's baby step 3.
So we'll finish the emergency fund, and then we want to put max out both of our Roth 2022. So that'd be 12. And then we're going to put $2K for each of our kids, 529s. We have 2 kids.
Good.
And then we have 15 left, so that would be $1,000 per kid. And then we have 15. So we do have a truck that we want to get up and running. So we wanted to see if that is okay. It's an older truck. It's just a hobby. It's classic old car. Or should we be throwing that at the house?
Now, once you get past baby step 3, you leave intensity and move to intentional.
Okay.
And so if this is intentional, and you say, okay, we're gonna work on the hobby truck a little bit, or we need to buy a couch, or we're gonna go on vacation, or we need to buy a new car because the one we got's a dumpy one. We got to move up a little. This is where you would do all of that, knowing that every dollar you spend there is not going towards your mortgage. So you're going to be in debt a little longer, but that's okay because it's intentional versus intensity.
Okay.
But you don't do this with the mindset of, oh, we're never going to get our mortgage paid off. No, we're going to get our mortgage paid off anyway.
Okay. Yeah.
That's really good. I think a lot of times when people start the baby steps, they get so focused on being intense that when you get past that phase, it's kind of hard to leave that mindset to the side. And it's not to say that you get lackadaisical, but you were never intended to live, under the gun for the entire, you're supposed to enjoy some of this money. So it's about being intentional about it. You and your husband have decided this is what we're going to do. This is worth the opportunity cost. And you've made that decision together. So you're doing just right.
Yep. Or it makes you look and go, I'd rather pay off my mortgage than the truck, so maybe it's time to get rid of the truck. Either one's okay, but now it's time to be intentional, not just intense. So very good question. Merry Christmas to you, Emily.